Being yourself is ruining your life. You ever hear that saying, just be yourself? For the longest time, I thought that was the golden ticket. But what if, and hear me out, what if being yourself is what's keeping you from your biggest breakthroughs? You see, there's a version of me and you that's been molded by our past experiences, other people's opinions, and our own fears. That's right. But there's also another version, the one that's hungry for more, eager to grow, eager to expand, and ready to break free. If you've ever felt stuck in a loop, like you're missing a piece of the puzzle, join me. Let's challenge the status quo today. And let's redefine what it means to truly be ourselves. Now, be yourself is one of the most widespread pieces of advice we've all heard. You hear it everywhere. Why? Because perhaps it's meant to be empowering, urging us to be true to our genuine nature, to our real self, and not to mold ourselves according to others' expectations. I get it. I can see where it comes from. But what if the very self you are clinging to is what's coming in your way? What if it's obstructing your growth and financial success? Let me explain this authenticity dilemma here. You see, the authenticity dilemma arises when our genuine self or our learned behaviors, beliefs, even habits, many of these which might have been shaped during generally traumatic events or negative experiences, what I also like to refer as significant emotional events, hinder our growth. You see, in essence, it's when being yourself becomes a limitation rather than an asset, which is supposedly what it's meant to be. Now, Dr. Carol Dweck, a leading researcher in the field of motivation and a professor at Stanford University, introduced this concept of fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Her research suggests that individuals with a fixed mindset, they believe their abilities, their intelligence, and even other people are static, cannot change. It is how it is. This is how I am. This is how things are. And that leads to avoidance of challenges. Because if you think that's just who you are, that's how you are, nothing can change, why would you go on and take on a challenge? And it also leads to fear of failure. And on the other side, those with a growth mindset, they believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. They believe everything is changeable. And as a result, they also see challenges as opportunities to grow. So the authenticity dilemma can be likened to the fixed mindset. If you're clinging to a version of yourself without seeking growth or change, you're limiting. You're limiting yourself in major ways, and you're definitely limiting your potential. Because being authentic, yes, it's crucial for genuine relationships and self-acceptance, sure. But it's essential to differentiate between staying true to one's core values and clinging to old limiting beliefs or behaviors. And that's what can happen to a lot of people. If I'm going to be myself, then I bring my limiting beliefs with me. I bring my old behaviors with me. It might not be about changing who you are. So the journey involves recognizing and addressing this authenticity dilemma in your life. And let's compare authenticity with growth. You see that the pursuit of authenticity is about being true to oneself, embracing our genuine feelings, our genuine beliefs, and our identity. But when does this pursuit become a roadblock to our personal development, to our personal growth? So here we delve into the balance between staying true to oneself and allowing oneself to grow and change. Now, authenticity, this represents our true nature, unmasked and unaltered. It is a genuine beliefs, feelings, and identity. And it is valuable because it brings about a sense of integrity, consistency and congruency in our lives. Yes, it is. When we look at growth, growth is the process of evolving, learning, even changing and expanding. I like the word expansion here, our horizons. And growth often involves challenging our existing beliefs, getting used to new environments, and sometimes reshaping parts of our identity. This is critical. The identity that got you to a certain point is typically not the identity that will get you to the next level. So that tension between authenticity and growth emerges when staying true to one's current self prevents your growth, prevents your development, your personal and professional development. So though it is essential to remain authentic, we should also be aware if it's getting in the way of embracing change and growth. We should not let this stop us from truly accepting and wanting change and growth. And I can tell you, growth requires that we occasionally, and to be honest, frequently step out of our comfort zones. Question our current beliefs and be open to new experiences and new ideas, and new people and new things. You see, authenticity can be a trap on the other hand, right? That what it's really about is that we don't lose sight of our core values and principles. Let's talk about our relationship with others for a moment here. You see, our relationships play a very important role in shaping our beliefs, our attitudes, and ultimately our success. Now, whether they serve as mirrors reflecting our self-worth, scaffolds supporting our growth, or barriers hindering our progress, the influence of our interpersonal relationships just cannot be understated. It is critical, very, very important. You see, our relationships, they serve as mirrors very often. They reflect our self-beliefs and our attitudes back to us. And this reflection, by the way, can either reinforce our beliefs or they can challenge them. For example, if we surround ourselves with individuals who constantly sort of look down on our abilities, doubt us, question us, it's easy to internalize that negativity and start believing in our own inadequacy. Has that ever happened to you? Where people didn't believe in you, as a result, you stopped believing in you? Now, Dr. John Gottman is a renowned psychologist and relationship expert, conducted many, many studies on the importance of relationships and their impact on individuals. One of his very, very remarkable findings is the magic ratio in successful relationships. For every 1 negative interactions, there need to be at least a minimum of 5 positive interactions. Now, this ratio underscores the importance of positive reinforcement and a supportive environment for growth and for well-being. Now let's look at being alone versus being isolated. I think they get mixed up a little bit. You see, the human experience often involves periods of solitude and periods of social interaction. Now, while both have their value, it's crucial to understand the distinction between being alone, which by the way can be a potentially empowering state, and being isolated, which can be detrimental to our well-being. Very important to understand the difference in these two. See, being alone, it refers to that state of being by oneself, regardless of the feelings of loneliness. See, solitude can be a chosen state, and it can actually got a lot of benefits, such as self-reflection, relaxation, and rejuvenation. We need to recharge, and for many people, being alone can be that way. It is a space where one can seek clarity, recharge, or even engage in deep work. It's very powerful. But being isolated, this refers to a state of separation from others. And this is, and not always by choice, this is what can lead to feelings of loneliness. And that is an emotional state which is characterized by a disconnect from others or a perceived lack of social relationships or quality connections. Let me share an example of Alex. He's a writer, and he often sought solitude, locking himself away for hours or sometimes even days to write. And during those periods, he felt recharged, and some of his best ideas flowed during that time. But Alex had this personal sort of setback, and so he began to withdraw from his social circles. So his once chosen solitude, he used to choose it in the past, it became a state of isolation. He started to feel disconnected, and the isolation, it took a toll on his mental well-being. So recognizing this shift from being alone to being isolated, Alex actually started joining writers' workshops and community events, and he aimed to balance his periods of solitude with meaningful social interactions. And this balance truly restored his well-being and in fact boosted his creativity. Now, Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad, she's actually a professor of psychology and neuroscience, conducted some very deep research on the impact of social connections on health and longevity. Her studies showed that prolonged isolation or feelings of loneliness can have health effects, negative health effects, which are comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In emphasizing the importance of meaningful, not just social connections, meaningful social connections. You see, life is not a one-size-fits-all journey. Everyone's path is different, it's unique. It's got its own twists and turns, own highs and lows. It's very hard to escape those. But while society's norms and sometimes family expectations or peer pressures can heavily influence our decisions, recognizing and truly honoring our unique journey is critical to finding your true success and your true contentment. But what happens? From a very young age, many are taught that there is a set path to success. Get an education in some societies, get a job, start a family, and so forth. But these benchmarks may not resonate, and they don't resonate with everyone. People do it anyway. And people just blindly follow this path which has been set by others, and that is what leads to a life of feeling inauthentic, feeling out of alignment, and deeply unfulfilled. I work with thousands of people. It's a very common problem. Dr. Robert Waldinger, director, did in Harvard of study of adult development, shared insights from one of the longest studies on happiness. And the study found that the quality of one's relationships is a significant predictor of long-term happiness and health, more so than wealth or fame. It was also found that living in accordance with one's true self rather than conforming to others' expectations plays a very, very crucial role in overall well-being. This cannot be understated. Let me tell you about Maya. You see, from a very early age, she was exposed to the world of medicine. Her parents were both doctors. Of course, naturally expected her to follow their footsteps. So for years, she pursued a medical degree, and those degrees take long. But her heart was truly always drawn to art. But this pressure to conform and meet her parents' expectations led to such a deep and profound unhappiness for her. I remember talking to her at this point, and it was apparent how deeply unhappy she was feeling and unfulfilled. Now, Maya hit sort of this turning point. She decided to travel for a year. She immersed herself in different cultures and artistic expressions. And through that journey, she discovered her passion for documentary filmmaking. Now, the switch was challenging, make no mistake. And she faced a lot of resistance from her family, but she felt so aligned. She felt really aligned with her true self more than ever before. And years later, Maya's got her own documentaries that not only fulfill her artistic spirit, but also made impactful contributions to society. See, while external influences, yes, they do play a role in shaping our decisions. It is very important to tune into our own inner compass, and we all have it. We all know who we truly are. We all know what we truly want, but we don't listen to that. Following your own path, though it may come with challenges, may come with uncertainties, barriers, but it can lead to a very, very authentic and fulfilling life. And as Campbell would suggest, it's essential to follow your bliss and discover where your true journey lies. Never give up on that. Pursue it and you will find it. Share in the comments below how you will tune into your inner compass and what you will do to move towards a truly authentic life, one that doesn't limit you, one that doesn't keep you with your limiting beliefs, but gives you the opportunity to change and grow from this point on. I'll see you very soon in another amazing video that will help you move your journey forward.